Today's topic is studying poetry. Poetry is made up of words. Let us begin by answering the question, what makes the poem different from the other forms of literature? The choice of words and arrangement of words. These two features draw the attention of the readers. It is different from common day-to-day speech. What is the purpose of choice of words? What is the purpose of arrangement of words? The answer to these questions are to stimulate pleasure and to enlarge the meaning and to give the impact on the readers. Then you need to focus the function of poetry. The function of poetry is to argue, and it can express feelings, it can create detailed and impressionistic pictures. When things are given in the form of poetry, people can value and appreciate the experiences very well. Women's different point of view towards human life is explicitly seen in the poems written by women. This view of female identity is U.A. Fanthrop's view. We are attracted to the poem because it rouses our feelings. These feelings start our thinking. You need to know how to read a poem. We have to read a poem carefully, read it aloud, give several readings, vary the speed, concentrate on and ponder each word, keep in mind how the poem is developing, and listen how it sounds, whether it is gentle, angry, or thoughtful, or sad. Listen how it sounds. Be aware of how you react to what you hear. Note down the words that give strong impact on you. First, have general outline about the poem. That is, achieve overall understanding on the poem. Then think about it in detail. Observe how the punctuation works. Then be aware of the features of poetic languages. Here we are going to see three features: compressed words, contracting words, special meaning for words. Compressed words is nothing but few words conveying several meanings. Contracting words is nothing but the contraction of it is it is. There are some special meanings for words like sleep and bed. Sleep means die, bed means grave. When you read a lot, you can see how it works. Then you have to ask yourselves few questions and know about the poem. When we read a poem, we usually ask ourselves, what do I feel about this poem? What in the poem makes me feel this? Because we react to the poem by asking the questions, why does the poet say that? Why is that particular word used? And then I am interested because does it reflect the way I feel? Does it make me think unusually? When you read a poem, it is pleasant at the present also. Single word will astonish to read the poem repeatedly. Why do I find these words pleasurable? You have to think and you have to write about that also. Then let us see about the tone of the poem. Here you are going to write about the poise, mood, voice, manner, attitude, and outlook of the poet. To get the tone of the poem, you need to have mastery of vocabulary. You need to blend the words you use. You need to imagine the poet's voice reading this poem. Tone is poem's emotional coloring. It includes several things like pace of the poem, weight of the stresses, length of its vowels, juxtaposition of words, and choice of images. Then we are going to see the enactment. Poem is made up of words. Enactment suggests how all the words join together and act out their meaning. It refers to the physical aspects of verse such as sounds of words, rhythms and rhyme of words. Instead of writing about every word in a poem, you can look out for a striking word in a poem. And don't ignore the words like the, to, yet, in, and. These seemingly ordinary words convey so much in the poem. Then you have to focus on the poet's usage of words. What should be seen in the poet's usage of words? First one, look for a change in tone. There may be one shock that comes in the usage of words. For example, in relation to death, if the poet used the word glad, there is a shock. Then look out for repeated words. Repeated words also build up the meaning of the poem. Third one, look for contrast. The poem may have striking contrast between two ideas. So you have to write how the ideas or how the words work. Fourth point, looking for words that sound more poetic. All words can be poetic, but it depends on how the poet uses them. Then fifth point, figures of speech. Having mastery over the technical terms like simile, metaphor, conceit, personification, symbol, imagery, paradox, and ambiguity. Pointing out or identifying the figure of speech and labeling them will not be rewarded. You should show how it contributes to the poem. Be familiar with the richness of the language. Longer attention is needed from the readers. This persistence will unfold many new ideas. When you read poem, 3 more features you should note. The way lines end, the pauses within lines, and the rhythm of lines. Now we are going to see about the line ending. A line ends in 2 ways. One is end stopped. It is complete by close. Second one is run on. It is left unfinished. No punctuation mark we can find at the end of the line. These 2 types of line ending help to get the impact of the poem. A break within a line is called a caesura. The presence of caesura can be seen with the customary sign of 2 vertical parallel lines. It has 3 effects. First one, it shapes the emotional aspect. Second one, it also marks a change in the emotions of a poem. Third one, to enjoy the pleasure of recognizing changes in the feelings. Then we are going to see the movement of the poem. The movement of the poem includes all material aspects of language such as sound, pitch, pace, and patterning. Rhythms contribute to the impact of the poem. It draws attention to individual words. It conveys more fully than statement. Merely labeling on a meter won't be rewarded. You need to write how meter, rhythm affect the impact of the poem. Then we are going to see sounds. When you write about sounds, you should know the technical terms like alliteration, assonance, and onomatopoeia. Alliteration is nothing but the repetition of consonantal sounds. The W sound is alliterated in the sentence when weeds in wheels. And in another sentence, we have S is repeated in the line, stare for the sake of souls of the slain birds sailing. Assonance is nothing but the repetition of the vowel sound. In a sentence, we have a thick pink. Here, I sound is repeated. And in another sentence, we have blend inconsistent. Here, in sound is repeated. And then finally, we have onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia is nothing but words imitating sounds. For example, we have buzz of bees and stuttering of rifles. So these 3 features you should be familiar, then only you can write about sounds. Rhyme is used in a poem to focus on the words that give central meaning to the poem. The form of the poem such as sonnet, elegy, lyric shapes the meaning of the poem also. Identifying stanza form is not important, but how it is appropriate to the meaning and mood of the poem is important. Now you can read the poems and identify the features in it and talk about its effectiveness. Thank you.